Guy works on very futuristic future of AI, which is the agents and small agents. So we have learned from him automated prompt engineering. Over to you guys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Topic, share screen now? Oh, yeah. That's it. Is it operational?
Yeah, can you go ahead and share to your Discord over now? Okay, we're good. All right, let's do it.
Hello. Hey. Nice to see everyone here. This is a pretty packed night. I think how many people are we at? 200? 250? Wow. Wow.
So 200 people signed up and 126 showed up. 200
That's incredible. When I was in Miami a year ago, there were barely any AI events at all. So it's been really fun. And so today we're going to be talking about automating prompt engineering. So essentially, by automating prompt design, you can essentially 10x your agent's performance because the vast majority of an agent's performance is situated in the prompt and the instructions that you provide your agents. So a little about me. I'm the founder of Swarms. We're the first ever multi-agent orchestration framework. We essentially allow you to connect multiple different agents from different providers, like OpenAI, LangChain, or any other agent framework. And essentially, you can orchestrate these agents to automate real-world business operations. I also lead a research lab called Aurora with 8,400 members, and I've been in the engineer for a long time now. So this is my personal website. If you want to email me, book a call, or whatever. So what exactly is prompting? I don't think too many people understand what exactly prompting is. Prompting is essentially the instructions that you provide to an LLM. So it can be extremely specific, or it can be you can provide extremely detailed step-by-step instructions that show your agent exactly what it needs to do, how it needs to do it, and why it should even do it. Why should an agent do it? And essentially, we're going to be showcasing how you can create better prompts through a series of automated methods. So these are the most used prompting methods. Zero shots. When you hear zero shots, I know there's a lot of these buzzwords. But when you hear shots, you're not talking about shots. You're talking about just do this. Zero shot task is doing one thing at a time. So you say, create the code for this, generate an email. That is what zero shot means. It basically means do one very specific thing. Few shot. So what few shot means is you're providing a few examples. So that is if I say generate the Python code for this, I will provide the agents with a series of examples for this Python code. So I would say generate the function to send an API request to Anthropic. I would provide a call to OpenAI as an example. And so multi-shots is many examples. And essentially this would be useful in the advent of analyzing any financial documents, sending emails. Generally speaking, with most advanced LLMs, the more examples that you provided for your specific task, the more reliable it's going to be for this task. And so another thing that essentially provides a lot of performance when interacting with LLMs is just very, very clearly defining what the LLM should be doing. I think way too many people are trying to have LLMs that do everything all at once and not specializing enough and just doing one thing really, really well. And if you do that, if you can do that at a certain degree, your agent's performance will just essentially exponentially go up. So multi-shot is very powerful. The next is chain of thought. A lot of people have been talking about chain of thought. It's very simple, but also very effective. In some cases, like O1 preview is essentially chain of thought. You see here exactly what that looks like. So this is OpenAI's latest model that just came out. So just what it's essentially going to be doing here is providing the, it's essentially going to be thinking to itself kind of how we think. We think before we take an action, sometimes we act without even thinking. But as you see here, it says, I'm listening, I'm thinking, I'm gathering, I'm mapping, I'm exploring. It's essentially, it's called internal monologue. It's essentially like when you think inside of your own head, this is essentially what chain of thought is doing. It's like thinking inside of its own head. So here you can see like all of its different thoughts. And then it gives us our task. So first, it thinks, it essentially like maps out the space of potential answers, because there are a lot of potential answers for a given question. Ideally, when you use an LLM, you should receive the simplest, most direct, and easiest to understand answer that you can from an LLM. And so that's why it's all this thinking is essentially happening, which you see here, and then here you can see the response. The actual task is now completed. It first thought, and then it completed the task. So here we see zero-shot prompting, one-shot prompting, few-shot prompting, instruction prompting, role prompting, meta prompting. There's various different forms of prompting, and I heartily recommend that you first understand the nature of the task that you're trying to complete. And then you essentially try to mix and match these different prompting mechanisms to help you in your journey. Because every task is different and every LLM is different. And you have to understand essentially the limitations between each method and how to mix and match them. So after chain of thought, we have reflexion. So reflexion is essentially like think step by step, same as chain of thought, but then also it remembers the history. And essentially it tries to map the history to its chain of thoughts. And then on the other side here, we have a tree of thoughts. And so a tree of thoughts is one of the more advanced thinking mechanisms. Essentially what it does is it thinks, and then it rates that thought on a scale from 0.0 to 1.0, 1.0 being the best. So essentially if you were to use tree of thoughts, that's like a map it, like imagine you're hungry at your home, and you're like, okay, what should I do? Should I go to the grocery store? Should I make food? Should I go out with friends? Like, you're gonna assign a probability to each of these different possible options, and then you're gonna essentially search through, I don't know, the most comfortable or cheapest option, or however you're evaluating that. But essentially, tree of thoughts is you think, you rate this thought, and then you just do many thoughts all at the same time. So the internal monologue is essentially what O1 preview was doing. It essentially contemplates, it thinks to itself before it solves the actual task. And so by doing this, O1 preview essentially maps out the space of potential answers and essentially builds up the foundation to complete a task, no matter how hard it is. Because no matter exactly how smart your model is, if you don't first build a foundation, you cannot build a penthouse without having a foundation. And that's essentially what it's doing. Another really popular mechanism is called react. When you hear react in prompting, it essentially means observe, act, and plan, and some combination of that. So essentially, the LLM will observe some form of data, say, oh, so if you say, I want you to send an email to John, it will say, first, I observe the user wants me to send an email to John. Then it will make a plan. It says, what shall I do? I shall make an email. And then the final thing would be act. The act would be actually making the email. And so React is very useful for like. It's my computer.
Is anyone learning more about prompting right now?
Okay, so those are basically like the most used prompting mechanisms. So essentially I want you to think as all of these as essentially like level blocks. You have to mix and match them to find the best possible prompt for your task. There is going to be a certain set of blocks or prompting mechanisms that are most related to what you're doing. So to first understand what problem you're trying to solve with the LLM. Finance, marketing, programming, like first understand that, and then you have to essentially pick and sort the most valuable prompting mechanisms for this task. But the problem is that reliable prompting is extremely difficult. In fact, it's so difficult that the number of good prompters in the world is probably less than 10,000. And there's hundreds of millions of users of ChatGPT. There are not that many good prompters right now because because prompting is actually really hard. So prompting at the bare minimum takes at least 1 hour to create a really good prompt. It also requires extensive years of experience in whatever your field is. So if like the other day I was trying to build prompts for dermatology. I don't know anything about dermatology, so that also you also have to take that into consideration. And then you also need to iterate that prompt. You need to make it better, and that requires many iterations of feedback. It also requires you to understand the nature of the LLM that you're using. It requires you to understand the knowledge of the data that the LLM was trained on. Like Anthropic was trained on a lot of business contracts because if you try asking Anthropic to generate a contract, it would do extremely well. And it was you can tell Anthropic was trained on more and longer data than ChatGPT, because if you say I want you to create a 5,000 word blog, Anthropic will not be able to do that. ChatGPT will not be able to do that, and Anthropic would be able to do that. But it also requires understanding the limits of the LLM. So LLMs have various settings. Temperature is essentially a metric of how creative an LLM is. So understanding how to manipulate the temperature is extremely important. Then you also have the number of output tokens, and you have a series of other settings that you essentially have to understand so you can get the most desired output. And you also have to have extreme experience to just understand how to prompt LLMs. Prompting can be taught, but I honestly think that it's something that you need to have experience in. You need to just have it's like going to the gym, you need to go every day, I guess. So
Very motivating.
Yeah, go to the gym. Reliable prompting requires extensive experience with LLMs. And so this is only for one AI. This is only for one agent. When you use ChatGPT, that's only one. It's only one LLM that you're using. Now imagine having to create multiple prompts for multiple agents. The complexity literally just goes through the roof. It's not even the amount of time and energy that you're going to waste is unbelievable. I was trying to build a financial swarm at one time, and I spent almost 15 hours in one day building prompts for 15 different agents. And that's you just can't do that. It's not scalable. It's also time inefficient. It costs a lot of your energy. It can also be costing you a lot of money. So what's the solution? The only solution is automated prompt engineering done by agents. And that's the purpose of our discussion today. And so automated prompt engineering is easy, reliable, and fast. Essentially, with automated prompt engineering, you can build production-grade prompts in 5 to 10 seconds just by saying, I want a prompt for this. And having ChatGPT or another LLM that you desire to create this prompt. You don't need any experience in prompting, and prompts can be autonomously upgraded. And that's crucial because you don't just build a prompt once and that's it. You have to essentially iterate on that prompt. You have to continuously upgrade it to make sure that it's up to date with whatever input data it's being used on. It also does require knowledge on the LLM's training history, and prompts can be structured around model settings. So you can say, if I wanted an LLM to create a story like a Japanese like haiku or something, you tell the agent it will essentially create the settings for those prompts so that you don't have to do that. So it essentially strips away, through automated prompt engineering, you can strip away all the complexity that is typically required to build good prompts. And I'm going to be showcasing some examples right now. So this is a diagram of a more technical implementation of automated prompt engineering. And so at the top here, you have a request. So you say, I want you to create a prompt for this. And that's the top. So this prompt will then go to an agent that will then generate this prompt. And then you can also, if you had some results, or if you evaluated it, like Alex's presentation, you can actually autonomously upgrade the prompt based on how it did from the eval systems. So Alex, this was an amazing preliminary discussion because this fits right in. And so you can integrate the evaluations, if you wish, to autonomously upgrade the prompts so that you don't have to manually update those prompts, which would take a lot of extensive experience in your domain, which we probably don't have. And so the final thing is that the agent will then generate the prompts. It'll provide the context, it'll define the primary task, it'll define the output format, which is extremely important. It'll also set constraints, because when we operate inside of a human society, we have a deep understanding of our constraints. And so we have to understand the constraints, we have and then any exceptions, and basically it's finished. And so I'll demonstrate that in a couple of minutes. But this is a very simple prompt that anybody can use for automated prompt engineering. You say, build a reliable production-grade and extensive system prompt for an X LLM agent that does Y, provide step-by-step instructions, and provide multiple many-shot examples. Also provide constraints and rules such as Z. X is the agent's role. I want you to analyze the stock market. Y is provide extremely detailed descriptions of what the agent will be doing. Be very specific. Do not be vague. And like I said, you have to keep essentially like toning down. Z is any strict rules for the prompt to have. So in anticipation for this lovely discussion tonight, I have gone ahead and created an agent that does all of this for you. So you will need to write that prompt. So it's called the prompt generator agent, and it's on the GP Marketplace. You can actually use it right now. Does anybody have an example of a prompt they would like to see? Write a song? About what?
Going to gym.
What type of song?
Reggae.
Reggae.
Yeah.
A reggae song.
And how do you spell that? Reggae?
R-E-G-G-A-E.
R-E-G-G-A-E. They don't figure it out.
All right, so here we go. We have the prompts being made right there. And when you look at that, that is pure diamond. This is actually, no, this is worth more money than diamonds. Look at that. There's still reggae songwriters specialized in creating uplifting and rhythmic lyrics that reflect the authentic essence of radio music. Your task is to write a song about the experience of going to the gym, capturing the positive vibes, motivation, and discipline involved. Now, if you wanted to like actually use this, you would go to suno.ai, which generates songs, and then you simply just copy and paste this. But yeah, so you just copy and paste this, and boom. Let's see how it does. Oh, I need a song. Boring. All right, we're almost there. We're about to get some reggaeton. Where is reggaeton from?
No, it's reggae. Reggaeton is different.
Oh.
Reggae's from the islands. It's from Calypso.
Oh.
Like Trinidad, Jamaica.
All right, let's go. Oh. 200 tokens. That's very interesting. All right, so it's going to say you can only take in 200 tokens. So we're going to say 200 tokens. Summarize this prompt in 200 tokens. So there you go. Now we didn't have to waste a very long time building that prompt. So now it's going to essentially generate the music, and yeah. So this can also work with images. So you can generate images as well. But this will work for anything that takes in text input as AI. So we'll see how it does. Okay, we got a song. Oh, it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, the music side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Yeah, the music side.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see.
Nice. So you put your microphone on?
Put your mic there. The other one.
Okay, let's go to that. Okay, yeah.
That was good.
So yeah, so that's for like music stuff. You can also do financial stuff. So let's go back and make a prompt for generating balance sheets. So I use this many times a day personally because I'm developing multiple agents at a time. And so you can go here and basically do something like and so now it's going to make that. And so yeah. In essence, LLMs are better at prompting LLMs than humans are. That is essentially the meaning of this discussion tonight. And LLMs are better at prompting than humans because they have seen trillions of words and they know how to mix and match these words to achieve a extremely precise prompt for a given task. Like I never went to financial school to learn about 10K quarterly reports. So I wouldn't know how to do this. So having ChatGPT help you, or even Anthropic has a prompt builder as well. Can I use it? You have to pay money to them. They're not nice people. Well, that's not it. Wait, yeah. So you have to pay. So
But I get to put a card on that, that's it.
yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so basically this GPT is usable if you scan that little QR code on the right there. You can use it, just like zoom in so you can get that QR code. And then we're also going to be building like an API for developers to like create tens of thousands of prompts for tens of thousands of different agents. So if you're a developer and you want to build a lot of prompts, I suggest you scan the GitHub one, and then we have the GPT that you can use right now, openly available. And so yeah, honestly, automated prompt engineering is the future because now it's scalable, easy, cheap, and every other benefit. And yeah, so this is some other QR codes for Swarms. We are hiring agent engineers to essentially build a future of multi-agent collaboration. So that's our website, GitHub, and Docs, and that's pretty much it.
I'm going to make sure that we share that reggae song with everyone. Motivation. Yeah, we should be promoting Gen AI. We should be supporting it, even if it's not that good right now. By the way, anybody has any questions? You can take one question, and after that, all the speakers will be able. Can you shout?
Yeah.
Scream?
What's your best resource to find like very high-end professional prompters that you could hire, or I guess get consulting from?
I mean, ChatGPT. That's right there. Like I said, ChatGPT is probably going to be a better prompter than 95% of human beings. So that I would honestly just recommend you to ChatGPT. I will be posting the full extent and all the resources relating to my presentation tonight. So I think those resources can also assist you. But in complete honesty, ChatGPT might just be what you're looking for. There's no need to overcomplicate things. Thank you.
I think that was awesome. And like one great thing about these events is like I hate doing lectures, videos, even if they're great, but I love learning from the community and I love learning in person. We want to make sure that we've got everything in place, everything. So, okay, so that's with our speaker sessions. We are going to have now open networking and mingling. Feel free to go and talk to speakers. Feel free to chat and discuss. I'm here as well. I love nerding out and having any deep conversation about what we talked today or anything else in general. And then if you want to stay tuned for events like this is the Gen AI Collective.